welcome to Friendship and Joy. I'm Karen, and as you can see, I am now back home in my knitting room. Yay! It's been a long time coming. I'm finally back. Everything went well. I did my hotel quarantine, and then I did my 2 weeks of quarantine, in total. And thank goodness for yarn. That's all I have to say, because the best way to get through quarantine is to knit your way through it. I've been knitting a lot through quarantine, and I wanted to show you a little bit of what I've been doing. So I think I began to cast on I think it's now my third Soldotna top. I cast on in Sweden and I finished it throughout quarantine, and I think it turned out pretty well. I got my leftover yarns from other projects, and yeah, that one turned out quite nice. Right now it's very warm, so it's already too hot to wear this. It's hard to get those in between days, like spring or late fall, where you can wear a knitted top but still short sleeve. But I'm sure I will find some use for it. So I'm very pleased with that one. And then I have been doing a little bit of just another plain triangular shawl. My sisters, I tried to get them hooked on knitting. Well, my one sister I tried to get hooked on knitting a few years back, and I actually bought her this yarn, and then that had been laying around and she never did anything with it. So I picked it up now while I was at home when I saw her, and I said, here, let me knit you a shawl or something, do something with it. So here I am working on just a plain triangular shawl. No pattern for it, I just kind of wing it as I go. It's always fun. Can't even remember what kind of yarn or where I bought it, so it's like nothing special type of yarn. But it's one of those, this is my new kind of forever project that I work on before or in between other projects. So that's that one. While I was in Sweden, I did this time manage to get both my sisters hooked on crocheting. Yay! I don't know how it happened, but it turned out to be so wonderful, because the one sister said, I need something to do, and I need something to calm my brain down and something fun to do while I'm at home relaxing. And of course they've all kind of already half knew how to do it, so helping them just get started picking some yarn and helping them, telling them what to do. They're both now gotten very into it. My one sister already finished. She bought chunky yarn to begin with, and she made herself a beautiful blanket. And she's already now started with a thinner yarn, and she's making herself a poncho. And my other sister is making a beautiful blanket. She bought a multicolored cake yarn, and she's worked her way through one cake already, and she's on the second cake. And now she's making herself a lovely blanket. So while we were in Stockholm trying to find some yarn for them, I found this wonderful little yarn store. It is called Claras Tyg and Yarn, Tyg och Garn, which means fabrics and yarn. And the wonderful lady, she was in that store. She was helping us picking out the right kind of yarn. And I find that when you go into a yarn store and you talk to either the owner or the person working there, I find that they're so helpful, and since they share the same passion as you have, they are often very helpful. They want you to succeed, they want you to pick the right yarn, they will help you figure out what kind of yarn for whatever project you have and how much you need. And I find for the most part people are very helpful, so that's always fun to get to know the yarn store owners. Coming back to Canada, unfortunately everything is still in lockdown, so we can't go into any yarn stores yet. I think some of them have by appointment. You can go book an appointment and go in, but the yarn stores like the Little Red Mitten, I have managed to order yarn from them. So, you know, I think I talked in a previous episode about the Olava sweater that I wanted to make, and I have now finally ordered yarn from the Little Red Mitten for that sweater. So it's going to be a Rowan yarn with it's a felted tweed with the Kid Silk haze that I'm gonna do in the pattern part of it. We'll see how that turns out. I have yet to receive it, so I'll have to wait. I've never felt that yarn before, so I don't know if it's soft or if it's scratchy or whatever. But speaking of scratchy yarn, my latest project is, before I left to go to Sweden, I had ordered some real Icelandic yarn, so the Lättlopi Icelandic yarn, which is probably the warmest and the scratchiest yarn you'll ever find, but it knits up beautifully. So this is another Lättlopi sweater that I have knitted in the past, and I will show you what it looks like so far. And I think that once I block this out, it's gonna absolutely be stunning. I like the colors, and I'm hoping that in the fall I'll be able to wear something warm and snuggly, and I'm not gonna mind the scratchiness. I'm doing my very, very best to ignore the scratchiness. I've realized that I've been too babyish and too picky about yarn in the past, and I'm forcing myself to venture into getting away from the machine wash, or the, you know, like the superwash merino. I gotta learn to embrace proper wool even if it's not as soft, because I don't know, I think as long as you wear it in the right type of weather, you'll be fine. I'm not gonna wear this next to my skin, so it will be fine. Another thing that I enjoy doing is just making a little flower here and there. Whenever I have a chance, I have my little Arnos and Caldo blanket. I think Suzanne already finished hers. I have not gotten that much further on this one, but ever so often after I've done some knitting and I'm a little bored with that and I want to put it down, I'll just make one little flower and attach it to this. So this is like a very slow growing blanket, but one little flower here, one little flower there, and eventually it might turn into something. For now, it's just laying here on my little puff stool, and it's covering my little puff here, and it looks kind of cool. And the yarn that I have for this is kind of laying in my basket. They're always handy, so whenever you feel like picking up a ball and make one, it's there. Anything to keep you entertained during quarantine. And that's it for now. I don't have any more plans other than my different little projects to finish off. So for now, I'm just gonna finish this sweater, and then I am going to tackle the Olava pattern when it comes. And I'm gonna, instead of knitting it in with the Intarsia motif, I'm going to try the layered technique and see how that turns out. And after that, I guess we'll have to see what happens. I have my little different project on the go. Nothing urgent, nothing that needs to be done. I think it's just gonna be one of those summers that I will have to see what I feel like doing. It depends on the weather, it depends on where I'm at. I also find that since you can't walk into yarn stores, I don't impulse buy any yarn like I used to. When you go into a yarn store, it's a lot easier to pick up a beautiful skein and you're like, oh, I have to have this, and you buy it even though you don't know what you're going to use it for. Right now, since everything is closed, it's more like I try to find patterns online. I go on Ravelry, or I just Google and search for different patterns. I watch my other favorite YouTubers and I see what they're knitting and I get inspired by them, and then I order yarn accordingly for that pattern, like I did with the Olava sweater. But I kind of miss that impulse buy. my wallet might be not missing it, but I kind of miss the impulse buy, because sometimes you get a, yeah, I don't know, how are you? Do you buy yarn first, or do you buy a pattern first and then buy the yarn for that pattern? I would say I'm a 50-50 kind of person. Sometimes I just find the yarn because I have to have it. Most often because I'm in love with the color of the yarn. That's how it goes. And then I will find something to make out of that yarn. And other times I find a pattern, I have to make it, I gotta try it, and then I will buy yarn accordingly. So we'll see how it goes. This summer I have a feeling, since if everything is still gonna be closed down, where will I get my inspiration? Because sometimes I get inspiration from my knitting groups too, and see what other people are making. And I don't see the same thing when you have Zoom meetings or whatever. You don't see the same of what they're making, so I don't get inspiration from there. I have to go on YouTube. I gotta check out and see what other people are making and then copy them. That's what I gotta do. I gotta copy people. No, I need inspiration from somewhere, and I love Ravelry for inspiration. I guess I will find out this summer what I feel like doing. Inspiration will come to me. Right now I have a few different projects on the go. I'm gonna finish them up, and then I'll have to see where this summer takes me, where I'm at with my knitting, if I want to crochet some more, if I want to knit some more. But I feel like I need to get really inspired again. I need to get super excited about a pattern. Like when I knitted the Treville sweater, I did 2 in a row, and then I did the Spark cardigan, I did 2 in a row. The Soldatna, I've now done 3 of those. I feel like I need to branch out and do something else. This is my second Hjartalopi sweater. They're wonderful and they're fun to make, but now I need something completely new, some completely different. And yeah, I'll have to just, I guess Google is your best friend. You have to just look around and see. I'm not a huge Pinterest fan. I know a lot of people go on Pinterest for inspiration. I've never got hooked on Pinterest. I can't do it. But I will have to try to find. Look around. That's the best thing to do. Look around on Google or Garnstudion or Ravelry or someplace to see what other people are making, and hopefully I can come up with something fun to do. Because if you go a few days without having a project, I feel lost. I need something. I need to always have something on the go. So I'm just gonna slowly but surely finish up what I have on the go, and then I'll check in with you a little later on in the summer. And till then, happy knitting everyone. Take care out there. Bye. It's too bright. Hello and welcome to Friendship and Joy with me, Karen, today. I can't talk. I can't speak anymore.